You're 50, you have $1 million, you want to retire at 65 on $8,000 a month. Can you do it? The best way to look at this is going to be through a financial plan. We actually have a client in this situation, single, makes about $150,000 a year, has $1 million saved up at their age 50. His goal is to retire at 65 on $8,000 a month, today's dollars. Now, what does $8,000 a month, today's dollars mean? It means that we're taking into account inflation at 2 to 2.5% a year for the life of the plan. It also means that taxes are considered elsewhere. So $8,000 a month, goal is $8,000 a month in his pocket. We also set a healthcare goal. Why is that important? 2 reasons. Number one, because healthcare for most people pre-retirement is taken above the line. What that means is you get your gross paycheck, you have your insurance taken out, then you get your net. By the time you get your money to spend on whatever you want to spend it on, health insurance is already covered. When you retire, that becomes below the line. What that means is you get your net distribution from Social Security, from your portfolio, and you are responsible for paying your healthcare premiums outside of that. It reduces your potential take-home. The second reason that we include this as a separate goal, your living expense inflates 2 to 2.5% per year, whereas medical we've seen inflates a little over 5%. So we want to make sure that that higher inflation rate is calculated through the life of your plan. Now in this situation, this client has $1 million in assets. $750,000 of that is in his 401k at work. $250,000 of that is in an outside account. Now this particular client is contributing 12.5% of his income to his 401k, and he's getting a 3% match from his company. Once we get the client's assets, goals, savings, we run this through 1,000 different trials. The reason we do this is because the market is not flat. It's not going up at 4% per year for the rest of your life. We have good years, we have bad years. We want to make sure that through any market condition, the plan will be successful. Now, what do we consider a successful plan? When the plan ends, just in case you live another year, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 12, that there's money left over in the portfolio to keep funding your retirement goals. You can see in this situation that he's close. When we run this through our 1,000 trials, we see that about 60% of those trials are successful, about 600 out of the 1,000. You can see in our probability meter over here, that's in our purple zone. That's below our confidence level. That means we're not as comfortable that this plan is going to be successful long term because too many of the trials run out of money before life expectancy. Where we really want to be is in this green zone. This green zone is our confidence zone, meaning between 75 and 90% of our trials come back successful. This blue zone is above our confidence zone, over 90% confident. Now, the default reaction is to say, you know what, I want to be 99% sure that this is going to work. The problem with being too confident is that you're leaving a lot of money on the table. When you die, there's a big bucket of money that your beneficiaries are going to have a party on because you didn't spend it all during your life. So now that we see that this client's about 60% there are 4 things that we can look at adjusting to get him into that green zone. The first one is we can retire him later. Maybe he works past 65. We can also reduce the amount of income that he takes. Instead of $8,000 a month, maybe we need 6 or 5. We can also have him save more. He's putting 12.5% of his income into his 401k. Maybe we need to increase that, or we can change the allocation. Maybe we need to do a combination of all 4. Usually what I do in a situation like this is I talk to the client and I'd say, in this situation, which one of these 4 is easiest for you to change and which one is hardest? For most people, increasing savings is hardest because that means we're going to have less cash flow. Do we have the cash flow to save more? Most clients, the answer is no. So now we have to figure out which one of the other variables can we adjust. Do we need to retire later, work longer? Do we need to spend less? In this situation, the client doesn't really want to retire any later. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at his variables and what variables we need to adjust to get him into the green zone. Now, the good news with this client is you can see we got him from 60 to 80%. There's only two things we had to change. Number one, we had to change his allocation. We had to take him from his current portfolio into more of a balance with growth model to take a little bit more risk, but not so much that he can't sleep at night. The other adjustment we made in this client was we delayed taking Social Security from 65 up to 70. The benefit for that is now we have a higher Social Security amount for the life of this client, meaning he doesn't have to pull as much from his portfolios in later years of life. By making those two changes, changing his allocation and taking Social Security at a later date, for us, this would be a successful plan for this client to execute. Now, every plan is going to be different. We need to put your situation into a financial plan that is tailored to you and your family. If you have any questions, you can give us a call, or you can visit our website at thenoblegroup.com or email us at education@thenoblegroup.com.